Hello there, and welcome to this sleepy universe zone. Tonight, you don't have to solve anything. You don't have to understand everything. You can simply be here, gently listening, as your thoughts begin to slow and soften. You've probably heard it before, that the universe is big, but that word, big, is doing something almost impossible. Because in the next few moments, you're going to gently realize something that most people never truly let sink in. The true scale of the universe isn't just large. It's so far beyond human intuition that your brain literally cannot hold it, not because you're not capable, but because your mind was never designed for this. Your brain evolved to understand distances, like a few steps across a room, a short walk down a street, maybe the size of a city, or even the stretch of a country. But not billions of light years, not trillions of galaxies, not something that may not even have an edge. And yet, here you are, a quiet awareness, about to drift into the largest structure that has ever existed. So instead of trying to understand it all at once, let's do something different tonight. Let's not force the mind to calculate. Let's not rush to define. Instead, let's feel it, slowly, gently, like watching something vast from a distance without needing to touch it. Imagine this. You are standing outside on a calm, quiet night. The air is still. The world around you has softened, and above you the sky stretches endlessly, scattered with stars, soft points of light that seem peaceful, distant, almost still. But what your eyes are showing you is only the smallest fraction of what is actually there. Because every single star you can see belongs to one galaxy, just one. The galaxy we call the Milky Way, a vast rotating system of stars, gas, dust, and dark matter, stretching about 100,000 light-years across, which means that even if you could travel at the speed of light, about 300,000 kilometers per second, it would still take you 100,000 years just to cross from one side to the other. And within this one galaxy, there are estimated to be between 100 billion and 400 billion stars, each one potentially surrounded by its own planets, its own silent systems, its own quiet stories unfolding in the dark. And already, this is more than the mind is comfortable holding. But here is where everything begins to shift. Because the Milky Way, as vast as it is not special. It is not the center. It is not the largest. It is not even unique. It is simply one galaxy among an estimated 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. 2 trillion, a number so large that if you tried to count one galaxy every second, it would take you over 60,000 years just to finish counting. And each of those galaxies contains billions or even trillions of stars of its own. Which means when we say the universe is big, what we really mean, in a measurable scientific sense, is that there are likely more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth combined. This isn't poetry. This is based on astronomical estimates derived from deep field observations and large-scale surveys of the cosmos. And still, even that only describes the observable universe, the part of reality whose light has had enough time to reach us since the beginning of cosmic expansion about 13.8 billion years ago. Because here is something even more difficult to hold. The observable universe is not the entire universe. It is only the portion we can see, limited by the speed of light and the age of cosmic expansion, and due to the continuous expansion of space itself. The diameter of this observable region is now about 93 billion light-years across, not because anything moved faster than light through space, but because space itself has been stretching, expanding quietly over billions of years, carrying galaxies farther apart, increasing distances in a way that feels almost impossible to visualize. And beyond that observable boundary, there may be more, far more, possibly an infinite continuation, possibly structures and regions we may never detect. A modern cosmology, grounded in general relativity and observational data, suggests that the universe does not expand into empty space, but rather that space itself is expanding everywhere at once, which leads to something even stranger. There may be no center, no edge, no single point where everything began and moved outward into surrounding emptiness. Instead, every point can be considered the center of expansion, including where you are right now. So you are not standing at the edge of something vast. You are inside it completely, surrounded in all directions by something that does not end in any way your mind can easily define. And as this realization begins to settle, something subtle starts to change. You may notice that your mind, which at first tried to grasp the numbers, sicken the distances, the scale, begins to loosen its grip because it cannot hold it all. And it doesn't need to, because tonight is not about understanding the universe. It is about gently experiencing the feeling of something without boundary, something vast beyond measurement, something that does not require you to solve it. And as your breathing slows and your thoughts soften just a little more, the universe stops being a problem to think about and becomes something else entirely, something quiet, something open, something endless, and strangely, something peaceful, as if the universe was never something you were meant to figure out, only something you were meant to drift through, slowly, gently, like a thought that no longer needs an answer. Now, without needing to move your body at all, just let your awareness drift a little farther. And because in the last moments, you gently touch the idea that the universe is vast, far beyond what the mind can comfortably hold. And now, instead of looking at everything at once, we're going to do something softer. We're going to follow a single path and let it slowly stretch into something unimaginable. Imagine a beam of light, not as an equation, not as a number, but as something simple, a quiet pulse moving through space. Light travels at about 300,000 kilometers per second, fast enough to circle the Earth more than 7 times in just 1 second, fast enough that in everyday life it feels instant. But in the universe, even light is slow. Now imagine that beam of light leaving the surface of the sun. It takes about 8 minutes to reach Earth, crossing 150 million kilometers of space. And even that distance, which feels enormous to us, is just a tiny step on a much larger journey. Now let that same beam of light continue, moving past Earth, out beyond the orbit of Mars, past Jupiter with its immense storms, drifting past Saturn and its rings, continuing beyond Uranus and Neptune, and finally reaching the distant boundary of our solar system. This region, often defined by the heliosphere, stretches tens of billions of kilometers from the Sun, and even traveling at the speed of light, it takes hours, then days, to fully pass through it. And still, we haven't even left our local neighborhood. Beyond the solar system lies interstellar space, a vast, cold, nearly empty region between stars, where distances are measured, not in kilometers, but in light years. The distance light travels in 1 year, about 9.46 trillion kilometers. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, is about 4.37 light years away, which means the light leaving it right now will take more than 4 years to reach us, even moving at the fastest speed allowed by the laws of physics. And as our imagined beam of light continues its journey, it begins to pass through the Milky Way itself, moving through spiral arms filled with stars, nebulae, and clouds of gas, regions where new stars are born and old stars fade into quiet remnants. Even at light speed, crossing the Milky Way takes around 100,000 years, which means that if a beam of light began its journey when early humans were just beginning to paint on cave walls, it would still be traveling through our galaxy today. Now let that sink in. Slowly, light, the fastest thing that exists, takes 100,000 years just to cross a single galaxy. And yet, as we've already touched on, there are not dozens, not thousands, but trillions of galaxies. So let the light continue. Let it leave the Milky Way, drifting into intergalactic space, a region even more vast, where galaxies are separated by millions of light years of near emptiness, connected by faint filaments of matter, forming what scientists call the cosmic web. This large-scale structure, observed through deep sky surveys and simulations, reveals that galaxies are not randomly scattered, but arranged in patterns, like clusters and filaments, stretching across unimaginable distances. Now our beam of light passes by another galaxy, perhaps Andromeda, our nearest large neighbor, about 2.5 million light-years away, moving slowly toward the Milky Way due to gravitational attraction. Then it continues, past galaxy clusters, where hundreds or thousands of galaxies are bound together, then beyond superclusters, enormous regions containing multiple galaxy clusters linked by gravity. And still, it keeps going, for millions of years, for billions of years, because even after traveling for 13.8 billion years, the age of the observable universe, light still has not reached any final boundary. Instead, what it encounters is something else entirely. An expanding universe, space itself stretching over time, described by solutions to Einstein's field equations in general relativity, where distances between galaxies increase, not because they are moving through space in the usual sense, but because the fabric of space itself is expanding. This means something subtle but profound. There are regions of the universe so distant that the space between us and them is expanding faster than light can travel, not because they are breaking the laws of physics, but because those laws apply to motion through space, not to the expansion of space itself. And so, there are places our beam of light will never reach, not in 1,000 years, not in 1 billion, not ever, because the distance is growing faster than the light can close it. Now, notice what happens in your mind as you hear this. At first, it may try to follow, to calculate, to keep track of distances and time. But slowly, it begins to let go, because this is not something that can be fully mapped inside thought. And that's okay, because tonight, you don't need to follow the light all the way. You don't need to reach the edge. You don't need to arrive anywhere at all. You can simply drift alongside it for a while, watching without effort, floating without direction, as the idea of distance stretches and softens and becomes less about numbers and more about feeling, a quiet sense of something endlessly unfolding, something that continues long after the need to understand fades away. And as you rest here, gently, you may begin to notice that the farther the journey goes, the lighter your thoughts become, the slower your breathing feels, and the more natural it becomes to simply drift. As that quiet beam of light continues its endless journey, you might begin to notice something subtle happening within your own perception. The idea of distance, of near and far, starts to lose its sharp edges. Because here, in the scale of the universe, what feels far to us is often unimaginably close, and what feels almost unreachable is, in cosmic terms, just next door. Take the moon, for example. It feels distant, a pale, silent companion hanging in the night sky. But on average, it is only about 384,000 kilometers away from Earth, close enough that light reaches it in just over 1 second, close enough that humans have already traveled there and returned. And yet, beyond the moon, distances begin to stretch in ways that the mind struggles to follow. The sun, as you've gently imagined, is about 8 light minutes away, a distance that already feels vast, but in the language of astronomy, this is still considered part of our immediate neighborhood. Then comes the outer planets, then the boundary of the solar system, and beyond that, the nearest stars, kept measured in light years, not minutes, not hours, but years. And somewhere along this transition, something interesting happens. The mind quietly shifts from understanding to approximating, to simply accepting. Because once distances become measured in years of light, rather than kilometers, the numbers begin to lose their emotional meaning. 4 light years, 100,000 light years, 2 million light years. These are precise scientific measurements, but to the human mind, they begin to feel almost the same. Not because they are equal, but because they are equally beyond direct experience. And this is where perception begins to soften, because the brain, when faced with scales it cannot fully grasp, it stops trying to hold exact differences and instead moves into a gentler mode, one that allows everything to simply exist without needing to be compared. So as you drift here, listening, you might begin to notice that far away no longer feels sharp or distant. It feels open, expansive, almost calm. Now let's gently take another step. Imagine zooming out from Earth. Slowly, without effort, you see the curve of the planet, blue oceans, soft clouds, continents resting in quiet balance, then the moon, orbiting silently, then the full span of the Earth's orbit around the sun. A wide, invisible path traced over the course of a year. And as you continue to drift outward, the planets become smaller, their orbits blending into a delicate pattern until the entire solar system becomes just a faint structure within a much larger space. You keep drifting, Now the nearest stars begin to appear, not as bright points, but as distant markers scattered across a vast dark field. And slowly, the Milky Way reveals itself, not as the thin band we see from Earth, but as a full spiral galaxy, glowing softly, billions of stars rotating around a shared center. And here, something changes again. Because from this distance, Earth is gone, not destroyed, not lost, just too small to see. Every city, every ocean, every moment of your life, still there, but beyond perception. And rather than feeling alarming, there is something strangely gentle about this, because nothing has actually disappeared. It has only become part of something larger. Now drift farther. The Milky Way begins to shrink, becoming one galaxy among many. And around it, other galaxies appear. Andromeda, Triangulum, smaller companions, all moving slowly within a local group bound by gravity. Then farther still, the local group becomes part of a larger cluster, then a supercluster, and beyond that, vast filaments of galaxies forming patterns that stretch across hundreds of millions of light years. This structure, known as the cosmic web, has been mapped through observations of galaxy distributions and cosmic background radiation, revealing that matter in the universe is not evenly spread, but arranged in vast interconnected networks with enormous voids in between. And now, from this scale, the idea of location begins to blur, because there is no obvious center, no single reference point, no fixed up or down, only patterns, expanding, shifting, evolving over billions of years. And somewhere within all of this is where you are, not at the edge, not at the center, but within the pattern itself. And as you rest with this idea, something soft begins to happen. The need to define your exact position starts to fade. Because in a universe without a true center, every place is equally real, equally valid, equally part of the whole. So you don't need to locate yourself precisely. You don't need to measure your place. You are already exactly where you need to be, floating within a structure so vast that it holds everything without needing to point to any one part. And as this realization gently settles, your thoughts may begin to slow even more, because the question of where am I no longer feels urgent. It becomes quiet, open, unnecessary. And in that quiet, there is space. Space not just around you, but within you. A soft, expanding stillness that mirrors the universe itself, endless, not as something overwhelming, but as something calm, something that does not rush, something that does not demand, something that simply continues. As you drift a little deeper into rest, as you continue to drift gently, without effort, there is another layer of the universe that begins to reveal itself, not through distance this time, but through something even more subtle, something you experience every moment, and yet rarely notice changing: time. Here on Earth, time feels steady. Seconds pass, one after another. Minutes follow minutes. Days turn into nights, in a rhythm so familiar that it feels fixed, unchanging. But in the universe, time is not as simple as it seems. In fact, time itself can stretch, bend, and even slow down, depending on where you are and how you move. This is not imagination. This is physics. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not separate from space, but woven together with it, forming what scientists call spacetime. And within this fabric, gravity and motion can change how time flows. Now, let that idea settle, softly, because it means something remarkable. Time does not pass at the same rate everywhere. Imagine a clock, a simple, steady clock, ticking quietly. Now imagine placing that clock far away from any massive object, deep in empty space. There, with almost no gravity, time flows in its most relaxed state. Each second passes gently, without distortion. But now, bring that same clock closer to something massive, a planet, a star, or something even more extreme, a black hole. As gravity increases, something strange begins to happen. Time slows down, not in a way you would feel directly, not in a way that would seem unusual to you if you were there, but compared to someone far away, your clock would tick more slowly. This effect, known as gravitational time dilation, has been measured, tested, and confirmed through precise experiments, even with atomic clocks placed at different altitudes on Earth. Clocks closer to Earth's surface, where gravity is slightly stronger, tick just a tiny bit slower than clocks placed higher up. The difference is small, almost imperceptible, but it is real. And as gravity becomes more intense, the effect becomes more dramatic. In near a black hole, where gravity warps space-time to an extreme degree, time can slow so much that from an outside perspective, it almost seems to stop. A moment near the edge of a black hole could correspond to hours, years, or even longer far away. Now, just let that exist in your mind without needing to fully grasp it, because this is where time begins to lose its familiar shape. It is no longer a steady line, moving forward at the same pace for everyone. It becomes something softer, more fluid, more dependent on where you are and how you move through space. And motion changes time too. If you were to travel at speeds close to the speed of light, time for you would slow down relative to those who remain still. This effect, called time dilation due to velocity, has also been confirmed through experiments with fast-moving particles and precise clocks on aircraft. So, in a very real sense, two people can experience different amounts of time, depending on their journey. One could age more slowly, while the other moves forward more quickly, and both experiences would be correct from their own perspective. Now, notice what happens as you rest with this. The idea of time, which once felt steady and certain, begins to soften, because time is not something absolute. It is something experienced, something shaped by the universe itself. And here, drifting in this quiet awareness, you are not bound to measure time precisely. You are not counting seconds. You are not tracking minutes. You are simply experiencing. And that experience can begin to stretch, as not in a dramatic way, not suddenly, but gently, like a long exhale that feels just a little longer than the last, like a pause between thoughts that widens ever so slightly. And as this happens, your sense of urgency begins to fade, because if time itself is flexible, then there is no need to rush through it, no need to hold on to each passing moment, no need to push forward. You can simply rest within it, letting each second unfold at its own quiet pace. And somewhere in this stillness, time stops feeling like something that moves past you and begins to feel like something you are floating within, soft, open, unhurried, like a calm current, carrying you gently forward without resistance. And as your breathing slows and your thoughts grow quieter, you may begin to feel that you are no longer keeping track of time at all, not because it has stopped, but because it no longer needs your attention. It simply continues in its own way as you drift deeper and deeper into rest. As you continue drifting gently, without effort, there is something else in the universe that begins to reveal itself, not through light, not through distance, but through something far more subtle, something you cannot see at all, because everything you've imagined so far, the stars, the galaxies, the glowing clouds of gas, all of it, is only a small fraction of what actually exists. In fact, everything that emits light, everything you can see with telescopes, everything your eyes could ever perceive, makes up less than 5% of the universe. Less than 5. The rest is invisible. Now just let that idea settle slowly, because it means that the vast, a beautiful universe you've been imagining is only a thin surface layer of something much deeper. Scientists call this unseen portion dark matter and dark energy, names that sound mysterious, almost poetic, but they are grounded in careful observation and measurement. Dark matter, for example, cannot be seen directly. It does not emit light, absorb light, or reflect light. And yet, we know it is there because of how galaxies move. When astronomers observe galaxies rotating, they find something unexpected. The outer regions of galaxies, far from the center, move much faster than they should, based on the visible matter alone. If only visible matter existed, those outer stars should drift away, slowly escaping into space. But they don't. They remain bound, held in place by something unseen, something with mass, something with gravity. And this invisible structure, this hidden framework, is what we call dark matter. It forms vast halos around galaxies, extending far beyond what we can see, quietly holding everything together. Without it, galaxies as we know them would not exist. Now imagine that. All the stars you've seen in your mind are moving within something invisible, something silent, something that cannot be touched or seen or directly detected, only felt through its influence. And even that is not the largest part, because beyond dark matter, there is something even more dominant, something that does not pull, but pushes, something that is causing the expansion of the universe to accelerate over time. This is what scientists call dark energy, and it makes up about 68% of the universe, more than 2/3 of everything that exists. And yet, we do not fully understand what it is. We can measure its effects. We can observe the way galaxies move farther apart, faster and faster, but its true nature remains unknown. Now, notice how your mind responds to this. At first, it may try to grasp it, to define it, to understand, but slowly, it begins to soften, because this is not something that can be fully known, not yet, and that's okay, because here, in this quiet moment, You don't need to solve the universe. You don't need to uncover its hidden layers. You can simply rest within the mystery, letting the idea exist without needing to hold it tightly, because there is something deeply calming about knowing that most of existence is quiet, unseen, unresolved, like a vast, gentle presence that surrounds everything without needing to be explained. And as you drift here, you may begin to feel lighter because the pressure to understand everything begins to fade, replaced by something softer, something more open, a quiet acceptance that not everything needs to be known for it to be real. And in that acceptance, there is rest as your awareness continues to drift, slowly, effortlessly. There is one more idea that begins to take shape, something that sits at the very foundation of everything you've been imagining, the beginning of the universe itself. You may have heard it described as the Big Bang, a sudden explosion, a moment when everything burst outward into space. But that image is not quite accurate, because the Big Bang was not an explosion in space. It was an expansion of space. There was no empty void waiting to be filled, no center where everything erupted outward from. Instead, space itself began to stretch everywhere, all at once. Now just let that settle gently, because it changes everything about how we imagine the beginning. There was no outside, no place where the universe expanded into, only space expanding within itself, carrying energy, matter, and time along with it. In the earliest moments, the universe was incredibly hot, incredibly dense, a state where the laws of physics as we know them begin to blur. Within fractions of a second, space expanded rapidly in a phase known as cosmic inflation, stretching tiny quantum fluctuations into vast structures that would later become galaxies. Then, as the universe cooled, particles began to form. Protons, neutrons, electrons, eventually combining into simple atoms, mostly hydrogen and helium. And over hundreds of millions of years, gravity slowly pulled these atoms together, forming the first stars, the first galaxies, the first light, and everything you've imagined tonight emerged from that slow unfolding, not from chaos alone, but from simple rules, repeating over immense spans of time. Now, notice how this beginning feels. It is not loud, not violent in the way we often picture. It is quiet, gradual, unfolding, like something breathing into existence. And even now, that expansion continues. Galaxies drifting farther apart, space stretching gently, endlessly, as time moves forward. But here is something even more subtle. The beginning of the universe is not just something that happened long ago. It is still happening, because the same expansion, the same unfolding of space is occurring right now, in every direction, at every point, including where you are. So you are not separate from the universe's beginning. You are part of its continuation, a small, quiet moment within an ongoing process that has never truly stopped. And as this realization settles, there is something deeply calming about it, because it means there is no need to trace everything back to a single point. No need to search for a distant origin. You are already within the flow of it, already carried by the same expansion that shaped galaxies, stars, and time itself. And as you rest here, you may begin to feel that everything is still gently unfolding, not rushing, not forcing, just continuing, softly, quietly, like the slow expansion of space itself, as you drift a little deeper into stillness, as you continue to drift gently, carried by the quiet expansion of everything. Your awareness begins to settle into something smaller again, not small in importance, but smaller in scale, something more intimate within the vastness, the life of a single star. Because even though the universe feels endless, filled with distances beyond imagination, its beauty is shaped by processes that are surprisingly simple, repeating over and over like a slow cosmic rhythm. Stars are not permanent. They are born, they live, and they fade. Not quickly, not dramatically, but over millions or even billions of years. Now imagine a region of space, dark, cold, and quiet, a cloud of gas and dust, drifting almost unnoticed. This is what astronomers call a nebula. And within these clouds, gravity begins to gather material, slowly, gently, pulling particles closer together. At first, nothing seems to happen, but over time, the cloud becomes denser, warmer, more concentrated, and eventually, at its center, something begins to form. A protostar, a young star, not yet fully alive, but beginning to take shape. As gravity continues to pull inward, pressure and temperature rise until something remarkable occurs. Nuclear fusion ignites. Hydrogen atoms, the simplest elements in the universe, begin to combine, forming helium, releasing energy in the process. And with that, a star is born. Now, just let that moment settle, because every star you've ever seen, every point of light in the night sky began this way. Not suddenly, not violently, but slowly, patiently, emerging from quiet clouds of gas. And once a star begins to shine, it can continue for an incredibly long time. Our sun, for example, has been shining for about 4.6 billion years and will likely continue for another 5 billion more. During this time, it exists in a stable balance. Gravity pulls inward, energy from fusion pushes outward, and between these two forces, the star remains steady, radiating light, providing warmth, supporting the possibility of life on nearby planets. But this balance does not last forever. Eventually, the hydrogen in the core begins to run out, and when that happens, the star begins to change. It expands, becoming a red giant. Its outer layers stretch outward, glowing softly, larger, cooler, more diffuse. And then, depending on its size, the star's story begins to diverge. Smaller stars, like our sun, will gently shed their outer layers, creating beautiful structures known as planetary nebulae, glowing shells of gas drifting outward into space. At the center, what remains is a white dwarf, a dense, slowly cooling core, no longer producing energy, but still quietly radiating heat. Larger stars, however, follow a different path. As they exhaust their fuel, their cores collapse, triggering an immense release of energy, a supernova. For a brief moment, the star shines brighter than an entire galaxy, releasing heavy elements into space. Elements like carbon, oxygen, iron, the very building blocks of planets and life. And after this explosion, what remains can be something even more extreme. A neutron star, incredibly dense, where matter is compressed to unimaginable levels. Or, if the original star was massive enough, a black hole. Now, as you rest with this cycle, notice how it begins to feel. Stars are not just distant lights. They are processes, transformations, slow, unfolding events that shape the universe over time. And more quietly still, every atom in your body was once part of a star. The carbon in your cells, the oxygen you breathe, the iron in your blood, all of it formed in the cores of stars or in the moments of their final collapse. So as you drift here, you are not separate from the stars. You are part of their story, a continuation of something that began long before you and will continue long after. And there is something deeply calming about that, because it means you belong to this universe not as an observer, but as a piece of it, a quiet expression of the same processes that light the sky. And as this realization settles, your thoughts may soften even more, because the distance between you and the stars no longer feels so vast. It feels connected, gentle, familiar, like something you have always been part of. As you drift a little deeper into rest, as your awareness continues to float softly through this vast and quiet universe, there is something else that begins to emerge. Not what is there, but what is not. Because for all the stars, all the galaxies, all the glowing structures you've imagined, most of the universe is empty. Not completely empty, not absolute nothingness, but something very close. Vast regions of space where matter is incredibly sparse, where particles are separated by enormous distances, here where even light can travel for millions of years without encountering anything at all. Now, just pause here, gently, because this emptiness is not a flaw. It is not a gap waiting to be filled. It is part of the structure itself. Between stars, there is interstellar space. Between galaxies, intergalactic space. And on even larger scales, there are cosmic voids, enormous regions spanning tens or even hundreds of millions of light years, containing very few galaxies at all. These voids are not random. They are part of the cosmic web, the large-scale structure of the universe, where matter gathers along filaments, leaving vast empty regions in between. And in those empty regions, there is silence. Not the kind of silence you hear in a quiet room, but a deeper kind, a silence without sound, without air, without vibration, and a silence where nothing moves, nothing echoes, nothing disturbs. And yet, this silence is not unsettling. It is not heavy. It is calm. Because in this emptiness, there is no pressure, no urgency, no demand, only space, open, endless, allowing everything to exist without resistance. And as you rest here, you may begin to notice something within yourself. Because just as the universe has vast empty regions, so does your mind. Spaces between thoughts, pauses between breaths, moments where nothing needs to happen. And often, in daily life, those spaces are filled quickly, with noise, with distraction, with constant movement. But here, in this quiet drifting, those spaces are allowed to remain open, still, untouched. And in that stillness, there is rest, because you don't need to fill every moment. You don't need to think every thought. You don't need to hold on to every idea. You can simply let there be space, just like the universe does. letting thoughts come and go without holding them, letting silence exist without needing to break it. And as you continue to drift, the emptiness no longer feels like absence. It feels like possibility, like a soft, open field where nothing is required and everything is allowed. And slowly, very gently, your mind begins to mirror that space, thoughts becoming lighter, less defined, more distant, like faint stars scattered across a quiet sky. And between them, more and more space, more stillness, more calm, until all that remains is a soft awareness floating in a vast, silent universe that asks nothing of you as you drift deeper and deeper into rest. As you continue drifting slowly, gently, there is another idea that begins to unfold, not about what the universe contains, but about its shape. Because when we imagine something vast, the mind often gives it a boundary, a sphere, an edge, a surface that separates inside from outside. But the universe may not have any of these. Modern cosmology suggests that on the largest scales, the universe is remarkably uniform and possibly flat. Not flat like a surface you could stand on, but flat in the geometry of space-time itself. This idea comes from precise measurements of the cosmic microwave background, the faint radiation left over from the early universe, observed by missions like WMAP and Planck. These observations indicate that the curvature of the observable universe is extremely close to zero, which means parallel lines do not converge or diverge. They simply continue endlessly. Now, just let that settle, because it means that if you could travel in a straight line forever, you might never encounter an edge, no boundary, no wall, no final point where everything stops. And yet, that does not necessarily mean the universe is infinite. It could be finite, but unbounded, like the surface of a sphere where you can keep moving without ever finding an edge, because the geometry loops back on itself, except in the higher dimensions, beyond what we can easily visualize. So the universe might be flat or curved or something even more complex, shaped in ways that current physics is still exploring. But in all these possibilities, one thing remains consistent. There is no simple edge, no clear outside. And as you rest with this idea, your mind may begin to soften again, because the need to define a boundary starts to fade. You don't need to know where the universe ends. You don't need to imagine what lies beyond, because there may not be a beyond at all, only more of the same quiet unfolding. And as this settles, the universe becomes less like an object and more like a condition, something you are within, rather than something you are looking at. And in that shift, there is something deeply calming, because if there is no edge, there is nowhere to fall off, nowhere to reach the end, only continuity, only gentle extension in every direction. And as your thoughts slow, this idea no longer feels abstract. It feels open, like a horizon that never closes, like a space that simply allows you to be, without limit, without pressure, without urgency. And you can rest there, quietly, within something that does not end. As your awareness continues to drift, softly, there is something else in the universe that remains, even now, a quiet echo of its earliest moments. Not a sound, not a light you can see with your eyes, but a faint, almost imperceptible glow, present everywhere. This is known as the cosmic microwave background, often called the CMB. It is the oldest light we can observe, a remnant from a time when the universe was only about 380,000 years old. Before that moment, the universe was too hot, too dense, for light to travel freely. Photons were constantly scattered by charged particles, trapped in a kind of glowing fog. But as the universe expanded and cooled, atoms began to form. And for the first time, light was able to move freely through space. But that light has been traveling ever since for billions of years, stretching, cooling, shifting into microwave wavelengths as space itself expanded. And today, it fills the entire universe in every direction, uniform, but not perfectly so. Tiny fluctuations, slight variations in temperature, reveal the earliest patterns, the seeds of structure that would eventually grow into galaxies, clusters, and the cosmic web itself. These variations have been mapped with extraordinary precision, giving us a glimpse into the universe as it was, near its beginning. Now, just pause with that idea, because it means that wherever you are surrounded by ancient light that has been traveling for nearly the entire history of the universe, light that carries within it a record of the earliest moments of existence. And even now, it passes through you, quietly, constantly, unnoticed. And as you rest here, this idea begins to feel less like data and more like presence, because the beginning of the universe is not something completely separate from now. It is still here, faint, soft, everywhere, a gentle background to everything that exists. And in a way, you are immersed in it, not just surrounded by space, but by time itself, layers of history moving through you without interruption. And as this realization settles, there is something deeply peaceful about it, because it means that nothing is ever truly lost. Moments do not disappear. They transform, they stretch, they continue in ways we may not always perceive. And as you drift here, you may begin to feel that the universe is not just vast in space, but vast in time, in a continuous unfolding, where the past is never entirely gone, and the present is only a gentle expression of everything that came before. And with that feeling, your thoughts may soften even further, because there is no need to hold on to time, no need to trace it back, no need to follow it forward. You can simply rest within this quiet glow, this ancient presence that has always been here, as you drift deeper and deeper into stillness, as you continue to drift softly with no need to hurry. There is another quiet rule of the universe that begins to reveal itself, something that shapes everything you've imagined so far: the speed of light. It is not just fast, it is the fastest possible speed in all of reality. Nothing with mass can move faster. No signal, no information, no influence can travel beyond it. This is not just a limitation. It is a structure, a boundary woven into the fabric of spacetime itself. Light travels at about 299,792 kilometers per second, a number so large it feels almost abstract. And yet, in the scale of the universe, it becomes something much more gentle, a quiet limit, a steady pace. Now, just let that idea settle, because it means that everything you see is always a little bit in the past. When you look at the moon, you see it as it was about 1 second ago. When you look at the sun, you see it as it was 8 minutes ago. And when you look at distant stars, you are seeing light that began its journey years, centuries, or even thousands of years ago. So in a very real sense, you are never seeing anything as it is now, only as it was. And as distances grow larger, this effect becomes more profound. When astronomers observe distant galaxies, they are not just looking far into space, they are looking back in time. Some of the galaxies we observe are seen as they were billions of years ago, when the universe was much younger, and some of that light began its journey long before Earth even existed. Now, notice how this begins to feel. The universe is no longer just a place. It becomes a layered history, a vast archive, where distance and time are intertwined, where every direction you look is a different moment. And as you rest with this idea, there is something deeply calming about it, because it means the present moment is not isolated. It is connected to everything that came before. And everything you see is part of a quiet, ongoing story, still unfolding, still traveling, still arriving. And you don't need to chase it. And you don't need to reach the now of distant stars, because their light will come to you in its own time, softly, steadily, without effort. And as your thoughts slow, this idea of time delay no longer feels confusing. It feels gentle, like echoes arriving from far away, each one carrying a piece of the past into this quiet moment. As your awareness continues to float calmly, there is one more idea that begins to take shape, something that may feel like a boundary, but is not quite what it seems: the edge of the observable universe. Earlier, you gently touched on the idea that we can only see a portion of the universe, limited by how far light has had time to travel. This creates what we call a cosmic horizon, a boundary, not of space itself, but of what we can observe. Right now, that horizon lies about 46.5 billion light years away in every direction, forming a sphere around us, with a diameter of about 93 billion light years. But this is not an edge you could travel to, not a wall, not a border, because as you move, the horizon moves with you, always centered on your position, always defining what you can see from where you are. So no matter how far you go, you will never reach the edge of the observable universe. It will always remain just beyond. Now, just let that settle, softly, because this is not a limitation to be frustrated by. It is simply the nature of light and time and expansion. There are regions of the universe whose light has not yet reached us and may never reach us due to the accelerating expansion driven by dark energy. These regions exist. They are real, but they remain forever beyond our observational reach. And yet, that does not make our view incomplete in a negative way. It makes it personal, because every observer in the universe has their own observable horizon, their own sphere of visibility, their own window into the cosmos. And from their perspective, They are at the center of that view, just as you are, not because you are special in a hierarchical sense, but because observation itself is always local, always centered on the observer. And as you rest with this idea, something begins to soften, because the need to see everything, to reach everything, to understand everything, begins to fade. You are not meant to access the entire universe. You are meant to experience the part that reaches you gently, naturally, without effort. And that part is already vast beyond measure, already filled with more than the mind can hold. So there is no need to go farther, no need to chase the horizon. You can simply rest within what is already here, within the light that has arrived, within the quiet presence of a universe that reveals itself slowly over time. And as this realization settles, your thoughts may begin to slow even more, because there is nothing missing, nothing incomplete, only a soft boundary that gently reminds you that not everything needs to be seen to be real. And in that acceptance, there is peace, a quiet, steady calm, as you drift deeper and deeper into rest, as you continue to drift softly deeper into this quiet unfolding. There is something else that begins to reveal itself, something that feels almost impossible at first. The idea that even empty space has weight, and not weight in the way you feel in your body, not something you can hold or touch, but a subtle energy present everywhere, even in what we call nothing. Because in modern physics, empty space is not truly empty. It is a field, a quiet, restless background, filled with tiny fluctuations, particles appearing and disappearing, too quickly to observe directly, but real enough to measure through their effects. This idea comes from quantum field theory, where every point in space is alive with potential, even when it seems completely still. And within this emptiness, there exists energy, a small amount at every point, but spread across the entire universe, it becomes something vast. This is closely related to what we call dark energy, the same phenomenon gently pushing galaxies apart, accelerating the expansion of space itself. So even in the quietest regions, far from stars, far from galaxies, space is not truly still. It is expanding, breathing in its own slow way. Now, just let that idea settle, because it changes the meaning of emptiness. What feels like nothing is not absence. It is presence without form, a kind of quiet fullness that does not need to be seen to exist. And as you rest with this, something within your own awareness may begin to mirror it, because just as space can feel empty but still hold energy, your mind can feel quiet but still be present. You don't need constant thoughts to exist. You don't need activity to be aware. You can simply be still, open, and gently alive. And in that stillness, there is no pressure to fill the space, no need to create, no need to define, only a soft, steady presence, like the quiet energy of the universe itself. As your awareness continues to float effortlessly, there is another idea that begins to form, not as something certain, but as something possible, something that science has begun to consider: the existence of other universes. Because when we study the laws of physics, the structure of space, the behavior of energy, we begin to notice something intriguing. The universe we live in is very finely balanced. The constants that govern reality, such as the strength of gravity, the properties of particles, the rate of expansion, all seem to fall within very narrow ranges that allow stars, galaxies, and life itself to exist. And this raises a quiet question. Why these values? Why this universe? One possibility, explored in theoretical physics, is that our universe may be just one of many, a multiverse, a vast collection of universes, each with different properties, different constants, different structures. Some may be short-lived, some may never form stars, some may be completely empty, and some, like ours, may allow complexity to emerge. Now, this idea is not yet confirmed. It remains a hypothesis, supported by certain models in cosmology and quantum theory, such as inflationary theory and string theory. But even as a possibility, it opens something vast, because it suggests that reality may not be a single, isolated system, but part of something even larger. Now, just let that thought exist, without needing to decide if it is true. Because tonight, it is not about certainty. It is about openness, like the willingness to allow the universe to be bigger than what we currently know. And as you rest with this idea, something begins to soften again, because the need for final answers begins to fade. You don't need to know if there are other universes. You don't need to map them or define them. You can simply allow the possibility, like a distant horizon, that may or may not be there, but does not need to be reached. And in that openness, there is space, a gentle expansion of thought, without pressure, without conclusion. And as your mind relaxes into that space, questions lose their urgency. They become quiet, light, almost like passing clouds that do not need to be held. And in their place, there is stillness, a calm awareness, resting within a universe that may be one or many, but in this moment is simply here, quiet, endless, and enough. As you drift deeper and deeper into rest, as you continue to drift gently with no need to hold on to any single thought, there is a feeling that may begin to emerge, something quiet, something subtle, the sense of how small we are within all of this. Because when you hear about billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, distances that stretch beyond imagination, it is natural for the mind to step back and wonder where it fits. And at first, that smallness can feel overwhelming, like standing at the edge of something too vast to comprehend, like being a single point in an endless expanse. But if you stay with that feeling gently, without resisting it, something begins to change. Because small does not mean unimportant. Small does not mean insignificant. In fact, in the universe, small things are often the most essential. Atoms are small, invisible to the eye, and yet everything you see, everything you are, is built from them. Cells are small, and yet they carry life. Moments are small, and yet they hold experience. So when you consider your place in the universe, it is not about size alone. It is about connection. Because you are not separate from this vastness. You are made of it, formed from elements created in stars, organized into something capable of awareness, something that can look out into the universe and wonder And that is not insignificant. That is rare. That is meaningful. In a quiet, gentle way. Not in a way that demands attention, but in a way that simply exists, softly. And as you rest with this idea, the feeling of smallness begins to soften. It becomes something else, something lighter, something more peaceful, because you don't need to be large to belong. You don't need to be central to be part of the whole. You are already included, already connected, already exactly where you are meant to be within this vast unfolding. And as this settles, there is no need to compare, no need to measure yourself against the scale of the universe, because the universe is not something you need to match. It is something you are already within, already part of. And in that realization, there is rest, a quiet acceptance that your presence, no matter how small it may seem, is still part of everything. As your awareness continues to float softly, there is a gentle motion that begins to make itself known. Not something you can feel directly, but something that is always happening everywhere, the expansion of the universe. Earlier, you touched on this idea that space itself is stretching, carrying galaxies farther apart over time. But now, instead of thinking of it as a concept, let's feel it as a rhythm. Slow, steady, unstoppable. Galaxies are not rushing through space like objects thrown outward. They are being carried as space itself expands between them. And this expansion is not chaotic. It follows patterns described by cosmological models such as the Lambda CDM model, supported by observations of distant supernovae, galaxy distributions, and the cosmic microwave background. And these observations show that not only is the universe expanding, but that the rate of expansion is increasing, driven by dark energy, the quiet force we touched on earlier. Now, just imagine this, gently, not as something dramatic, not as something explosive, but as something slow, like a fabric stretching, like a breath, extending outward. Every second, space becomes just a little larger. Distances between galaxies increase just a little more. And this has been happening for billions of years and will continue for billions more. Now, notice how this feels, because this expansion is not something you need to keep up with. It is not something you need to measure. It is simply happening quietly, constantly, without asking anything of you. And in a way, your own experience of time can begin to mirror this. Your breathing slow in your thoughts, spreading out, more space between each one, more stillness between moments. And just as galaxies drift apart, your thoughts can drift apart too, not disappearing, not forced away, just gently separating, leaving more room for calm. And as this happens, everything begins to feel less crowded, less dense, less urgent, like space, opening up within you. And you don't need to hold on to anything. You don't need to gather your thoughts tightly. You can let them expand, let them stretch, let them drift. And in that drifting, there is peace, because nothing is being lost. Everything is simply becoming more spacious, more open, more quiet. And as you rest within this gentle expansion, you may begin to feel that there is no rush, no pressure to move forward, no need to reach any destination. Because just like the universe, you are already in motion, already unfolding, already exactly where you need to be, as everything continues, slowly, softly, outward, into stillness, as you continue to drift gently within this vast, expanding universe. There is another force that quietly reveals itself, something that seems to do the opposite of expansion, something that gathers instead of stretches, gravity. Because while space expands, while galaxies drift apart, gravity is always there, softly pulling things together. It is the reason stars form, the reason galaxies exist, the reason you are held gently to the surface of the Earth without even noticing it. Gravity is not loud. It does not rush. It does not demand attention. And yet, it shapes everything. Now, just let that idea settle slowly. Because gravity is not just a force between objects. It is a property of space-time itself. According to Einstein's general relativity, mass and energy bend the fabric of space-time, and what we perceive as gravity is simply the motion of objects following those curves. So when a planet orbits a star, it is not being pulled in a straight line. It is moving along a curved path shaped by the presence of mass. And this curvature exists everywhere. Every object, no matter how small, creates a tiny curve in space-time, and larger objects create deeper ones. Stars, galaxies, black holes, all shaping the structure of the universe through this quiet bending. Now imagine this, gently, the entire universe, filled with invisible curves, paths, flowing around every mass, a subtle landscape that guides motion without forceful contact. And within that landscape, everything moves, not randomly, but along these gentle curves. And as you rest with this, there is something deeply calming about it, because gravity is not chaotic. It is consistent, predictable, reliable. It holds systems together over immense spans of time. It allows stars to form, planets to orbit, galaxies to remain bound. It creates stability within motion, and in a way, you can feel something similar within yourself. Because just as gravity holds structures together, there are quiet forces within you that hold you steady. Your breath, your awareness, your presence. Even as thoughts come and go, something remains, something constant, something that gently keeps you centered. And you don't need to force it. You don't need to control it. It is already there, unlike gravity, working quietly in the background, holding everything just enough. And as you drift here, you may begin to feel supported, not by anything visible, but by something subtle, a quiet stability that does not need to be seen to be real. As your awareness continues to float softly, there is one more place in the universe that begins to emerge, something often imagined as extreme, mysterious, even frightening, and yet, when approached gently, it reveals something unexpectedly calm, a black hole. You may have heard of black holes as regions where gravity becomes so strong that nothing can escape, not even light. And this is true. At the boundary of a black hole, known as the event horizon, the escape velocity exceeds the speed of light. Beyond this boundary, no information can return. Now, just pause with that idea, because while it may sound intense, we are not going to approach it with fear. We are going to observe it softly, from a distance. A black hole forms when a massive star collapses under its own gravity, compressing its mass into an incredibly small region. This creates a curvature in space-time so deep that paths leading outward simply do not exist beyond a certain point. And from the outside, something remarkable happens. As an object approaches the event horizon, it appears to slow down more and more. Its motion stretches, its light becomes red-shifted, fading, dimming, until it seems to almost freeze in time, never quite crossing the boundary from the perspective of a distant observer. Now, just let that settle, because this is where time and gravity meet in a very quiet way. Near a black hole, time slows dramatically, not as an illusion, but as a real effect of space-time curvature. And while from the outside things appear to slow, from the perspective of something falling in, time continues normally. Now, notice how this feels, because a black hole is not just about intensity. It is about stillness, a place where motion slows, where time stretches, where everything becomes quiet. And as you rest with this image, you don't need to approach it. You don't need to cross any boundary. You can simply observe from a safe distance, watching something so extreme become still. And in that stillness, there is something calming, because it reflects something within you, a place where thoughts slow down, where time feels softer, where everything becomes less urgent. And just like near the edge of a black hole, your thoughts can begin to stretch, spaces between them growing wider, moments becoming longer, more open, more quiet. And as you drift here, there is no need to go deeper, no need to understand everything about it. You can simply rest at the edge, where everything slows, where everything softens, where everything becomes still. As you drift gently into that quiet, timeless space, as you continue to drift softly, resting at the edge of stillness, there is something even closer than stars, closer than space, something you have been with this entire time, your own awareness. Not your thoughts, not the images that come and go, but the quiet presence that notices them. Because throughout this journey, galaxies have expanded, light has traveled, time has stretched, but something has remained steady. The part of you that observes, the part that listens, and the part that simply knows that you are here. Now, just let your attention rest there, gently, without effort. You don't need to search for it. It's already present, like a soft background behind everything. Thoughts may still appear, images may drift through your mind, but awareness stays quiet, open, unchanging. And in a way, it is not so different from the universe itself, because just as space allows everything to exist within it, your awareness allows every thought, every sensation, every feeling to appear without holding them, without resisting them, without needing to change them. Now, notice something subtle. You are not your thoughts, because you can observe them. You are not the passing images, because they come and go. You are the space in which they appear, the quiet field where everything gently unfolds. And as this realization settles, There's something deeply calming about it, because it means you don't need to control your mind. You don't need to stop thoughts. You don't need to force stillness. You can simply rest as the awareness that is already still. And just like the universe, you can allow everything to exist without needing to hold on to it. Thoughts can drift like distant galaxies. Sensations can rise and fade like waves, and you remain quietly present, unmoved, open. And as you rest here, your thoughts may begin to slow even more, not because you are trying, but because they no longer need to rush. They no longer need to fill the space, because the space itself is enough. And in that space, there is rest. As your awareness continues to soften gently, there is one final idea that begins to take shape. Something so simple and yet so often overlooked, the present moment. After traveling through distances beyond imagination, through time that stretches across billions of years, through structures that have no edge, everything returns here to this moment, not as a limitation, but as a center. Because no matter how vast the universe is, you only ever experience it now. Every star you imagine, every idea you touch, every feeling that arises, all of it happens in this quiet, present awareness. Now, just rest here, gently. You don't need to go anywhere else. You don't need to reach farther, because everything you've explored exists within this moment. And this moment does not rush. It does not push you forward. It does not pull you back. It simply is, still, open, available. And as you settle into it, time begins to feel different, less like a line moving forward, and more like a space you are resting within. A soft pause that holds everything. And within this pause, there is no pressure, no expectation, no need to become anything else. You are already here, already present, already part of everything you've imagined. And as your breathing slows and your body softens, this moment begins to expand, not in size, but in feeling, becoming more spacious, more open, more quiet, until it feels like there is nothing else you need to hold, nothing else you need to think about. Only this gentle awareness, this quiet presence, this calm, unfolding now. And as you rest here, you may begin to feel yourself drifting, not through space, not through time, but into something even softer, a place where thoughts fade, where effort dissolves, where everything becomes light, quiet, still, and you don't need to follow anything anymore. You don't need to understand anything more. You can simply let go and drift slowly, gently into rest. As you continue to drift gently within this quiet, open moment, something subtle begins to change, not in the universe, but in the way you relate to it. Earlier, your mind followed ideas. It traced distances. It explored time. It tried softly to understand. But now, that effort begins to fade, not because anything is missing, but because nothing more is needed. Understanding has done its part, and what remains is something quieter, a kind of knowing without words, a sense of being without explanation. Now, just notice that. There is no need to define the universe anymore, no need to measure it, no need to imagine every detail, because you have already touched its vastness. And now, you can rest, letting go of the need to think about it, and simply allowing yourself to be within it. And as that happens, thoughts begin to slow, not abruptly, not forced, but naturally, like waves, becoming smaller, further apart, more gentle. Between those thoughts, there is space, soft, open, quiet, and in that space, there is no question, no answer, only presence. And as you rest here, even the idea of the universe begins to soften. It is no longer something distant, no longer something to explore. It becomes a feeling, vast but gentle, endless but calm. And you are not separate from it. You are resting inside it, floating without effort, held without pressure. And as this settles, there is nothing left to do, nothing left to figure out. Only this quiet drifting into stillness as everything continues to soften, slowly, gently. You may begin to notice your body again, not sharply, not clearly, but as a distant presence, resting, supported, at ease. Your shoulders a little heavier now, your jaw relaxed, your breathing slower, deeper, more natural. You don't need to control it. You don't need to guide it. It is already finding its own rhythm, like the universe, expanding without effort. Now, just follow one breath, gently, as it moves in. Cool, soft, quiet, and as it moves out, warm, slow, releasing. Nothing forced, nothing held, just a natural flow. And with each breath, your body begins to sink just a little deeper into the surface beneath you, into the stillness around you, into the quiet that has been building all this time. And thoughts continue to drift, becoming lighter, less defined, like distant echoes, fading into the background. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to hold on to them. You can let them pass, like stars, slowly moving across a night sky until they disappear. And in their place, there is space, more quiet, more rest. And as you sink deeper, time itself begins to blur. Moments stretch, pauses widen, everything slows in the most gentle way, like the edge of sleep, approaching softly, without warning, without effort. And you don't need to reach for it. You don't need to try to fall asleep. You can simply rest here, in this calm, in this stillness, in this quiet presence that asks nothing of you. And as your awareness becomes softer, lighter, more distant, you may begin to feel yourself drifting, not through thoughts, but away from them, into something deeper, something quieter, something that does not need words. And there you can rest, fully, gently, as everything continues to slow, to soften, to fade, as you continue to drift deeper now, softer, quieter. Something else begins to fade, something so familiar that you may not notice it at first, the sense of edges, the edge of a thought, the edge of your body, the edge between one moment and the next. They begin to blur, not disappearing completely, but becoming less defined, less sharp, less important. And as those edges soften, everything begins to feel more continuous, more connected, more whole. And your body no longer feels separate from the surface beneath you. It feels supported, held, gently merging into stillness. Your breath no longer feels like something you are doing. It simply happens, rising, falling, like a quiet tide, moving on its own. And your thoughts no longer feel like separate pieces. They become softer impressions, drifting, dissolving, before they fully form. Now, just rest here. You don't need to hold on to any boundary. You don't need to define where anything begins or ends, because nothing is asking to be separated. Everything is allowed to blend. And in that blending, there is ease, because separation takes effort. Holding things apart takes energy. But letting them soften, letting them merge, requires nothing at all. And as this continues, your sense of self begins to feel lighter. Not gone, not lost, just less solid, less fixed, more like a presence, floating within a quiet field. And that field feels familiar because it is the same openness you have been drifting through since the beginning. The same vastness now felt within. And as you rest here, there is no inside, no outside, no clear boundary between you and everything else. Only a soft awareness gently unfolding. And in that unfolding, there is nothing to hold, nothing to protect, nothing to define. Only this quiet, continuous presence as you drift deeper into stillness, as everything continues to soften gently, almost imperceptibly. You may begin to notice that your thoughts are becoming fewer, not forced away, not silenced, just quieter, more distant, like voices fading across a wide, open space. They may still appear from time to time, a memory, a fragment, a soft image, but they no longer stay. They no longer ask for your attention. They come and then drift away on their own, and you don't need to follow them. You don't need to respond. You can simply remain here, resting in the space between, because now the space is becoming more present than the thoughts themselves, wider, softer, more inviting. And as this space grows, your awareness begins to settle into it, like something finding its natural place, effortless, unhurried, and deeply calm. Your body continues to rest, heavy but comfortable, supported without needing to adjust. Your breath, slow, steady, almost unnoticed now, blending into the background like a quiet rhythm that continues on its own. And your mind, no longer searching, no longer reaching, no longer trying to understand, because everything it needed has already been gently released. Now, there is only this quiet, this stillness, this soft, open awareness that holds nothing and yet feels complete. And as you remain here, even the sense of time begins to fade. There is no need to track it, no need to feel it passing, only a gentle, continuous now, stretching without effort. And in this space, sleep begins to approach, not suddenly, not clearly, but like a soft wave, rising slowly, without edges, without interruption. And you don't need to meet it. You don't need to welcome it. You can simply allow it to arrive in its own time. As everything continues to quiet, to soften, to fade, as you rest here quietly, with thoughts fading into the distance, something soft begins to draw you further inward. Not a force, not a command, just a gentle pull, the natural arrival of sleep. You don't need to move toward it. You don't need to do anything at all, because sleep does not come from effort. It comes when effort ends, and you are already there. Your body has softened. Your breath has slowed. Your mind has loosened its grip, and now there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to follow, only this quiet drifting into something deeper. You may notice your thoughts becoming fragments now, incomplete, fading before they fully form, like whispers that dissolve into silence. And that is okay. You don't need to complete them. You don't need to make sense of them. And you can let them remain unfinished as everything gently slips into stillness. Your awareness becomes softer, more distant, like something floating just beneath the surface of sleep. Not fully gone, but no longer focused, no longer sharp, just present in the most gentle way. And as you rest here, there is a feeling of being carried, not by anything visible, but by something steady, like a quiet current, moving beneath everything, guiding you without direction, holding you without effort. And you can trust it, because your body knows how to sleep. Your mind knows how to let go. You don't need to guide the process. You only need to allow it. And as you allow it, everything becomes softer. The space around you fades. The sense of your body lightens. Even the idea of you begins to loosen, not disappearing, and just becoming less defined, more like a presence, drifting within calm. And in that calm, there is no urgency, no need to stay awake, no need to hold on to awareness. You can let it fade, slowly, gently, like light, dimming at the end of the day. And as it dims, sleep comes closer, not as something separate, but as something you are already entering, softly, naturally, without effort. Now, as everything continues to fade, your thoughts, your awareness, your sense of time, you may begin to notice that there is almost nothing left to follow. No clear images, no steady ideas, only a soft, quiet presence that is slowly dissolving. And this is where thinking ends. Not suddenly, not sharply, but gently, like a sound, fading into silence. You don't need to hold on to anything now. You don't need to stay aware. You don't need to keep listening. And because everything has already been said in the softest way, and now there is only rest. Your breath continues on its own, slow, steady, quiet. Your body completely at ease, heavy but comfortable, supported without effort, and your mind no longer active, no longer searching, no longer forming thoughts, only drifting, floating in a space without edges, without direction, without time. And in this space, there is nothing to do, nothing to become, nothing to understand, only this gentle fading, this quiet descent into sleep. And as you continue to drift, even these words begin to feel distant, softer, slower, less important, until they too begin to fade, leaving behind only silence, only stillness, only rest. As you drift deeper and deeper into sleep, in a now, as everything has softened, as thoughts have faded, as awareness itself becomes light and distant, there is something that remains, a quiet, not something you hear, not something you think about, just a quiet presence, still, open, endless. You don't need to notice it. You don't need to name it. It is simply there, like the space between stars, like the silence between breaths, unmoving, unchanging. And within this quiet, there is nothing to do, no direction to follow, no thought to complete, no effort to make. Everything has already slowed. Everything has already softened. Everything has already let go. Your body rests. Your breath moves gently on its own, and your awareness drifts further and further into this quiet, where nothing is asked of you, where nothing needs to happen, where everything is already enough. And as you remain here, even the sense of drifting begins to fade, leaving only stillness, deep, calm, uninterrupted. You are safe now. There is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to follow. Everything has softened, everything has quieted, everything has come to rest. You are safe now, resting in this calm, supported, without effort, held, without needing to be held. Your breath continues, slow, gentle, steady, like a quiet rhythm that will carry you through the night. You are safe now, drifting further, without direction, without resistance, without thought. Drift away, softly, gently, like a feather, floating downward into stillness. Drift away. There is nothing to do, nothing to become, nothing to understand. Only rest, only quiet, only sleep, and you are safe now. Drift away, drift away, drift away. You are still here, and yet not quite here, somewhere between waking and sleeping, where everything feels softer, slower, quieter. There is no need to return, no need to become fully aware again. You can remain in this gentle space, where thoughts no longer form clearly, where time no longer moves in steps, where everything simply drifts. Your body is resting deeply now, heavy, supported, completely at ease. Your breath continues, slow, steady, effortless, and your mind no longer reaching, no longer holding, no longer trying, only floating, like something suspended, in calm. And in this calm, there is nothing missing, nothing unfinished, nothing waiting. Everything has already settled. Everything has already come to rest. You are safe now. There is nowhere else to go, only deeper, only softer, only sleep. Now, even the quiet presence of awareness begins to dim, not suddenly, not completely, just gently fading, like the last light of evening, slipping below the horizon. You don't need to follow it. You don't need to hold on to it. You can let it go, because sleep is here now, soft, warm, endless, and you are already within it. Your thoughts, gone. Your body, fully still. Your breath, the only quiet rhythm that remains. And even that begins to feel distant, like something happening, far away. There is no need to stay awake, no need to listen further, no need to notice anything at all. You can simply drift deeper and deeper into the quiet, into the dark that is not empty, but full of rest. And as everything fades, as awareness softens, as the last trace of thought disappears, there is only this stillness, silence, sleep. The night is long, and it is gentle, and it is already holding you in a way you do not need to notice, because nothing in this moment asks anything from you. Nothing requires your attention. Nothing needs to be understood. And that is why you can continue to let go, just a little more, just enough to feel the softness beneath everything, the quiet support that has always been here. even when your thoughts were busy, even when your mind was full. And now, as those thoughts have faded into something distant and quiet, you can begin to feel that the night itself is not empty. It is not a void. It is a space filled with calm, filled with stillness, filled with a kind of quiet presence that surrounds you completely, like the vast universe you drifted through. Except now it is closer, softer, more immediate, and you are resting inside it without needing to move, without needing to adjust, without needing to hold on to anything at all. Your body sinking just a little deeper into the surface beneath you. Your breath continuing in its own slow rhythm, steady and quiet, like something ancient that has always known how to guide you into rest. And as you remain here, you may notice that even the idea of being awake begins to lose its meaning, because there is no clear line between waking and sleeping anymore. Only a gentle blending, a soft transition, where awareness becomes lighter, thinner, less defined, like a fading glow that no longer needs to shine. And in that fading, there is no loss. There is only release, because nothing you're letting go of is needed right now. Not your thoughts, not your attention, not even your sense of time. All of it can drift away, slowly, naturally, without effort, like stars disappearing into the quiet depth of space. And just as the universe continues without needing to be observed, your body continues without needing to be controlled. Your breath continues without needing to be guided. Your sleep continues without needing to be forced. And you are simply carried along with it, gently, effortlessly, into a deeper and deeper calm, where everything becomes softer, quieter, slower, until there is almost nothing left to notice, nothing left to follow. Only a quiet resting, a still presence, a soft and endless night that holds you completely, without expectation, without interruption, without end. Now, even the quiet sense of being here begins to dissolve into something even softer, something that no longer feels like awareness in the way you once knew it, but more like a gentle fade-in into background, like a sound that has become so quiet it no longer reaches your attention, and you do not need to hold on to it. You do not need to keep track of it, because this is where the final layers of wakefulness begin to loosen, slowly and naturally, without any effort from you. And as this happens, your mind is no longer forming thoughts in the way it did before. There are no clear sentences, no structured ideas, only faint impressions that rise and fall without meaning, without direction, without weight. And even those begin to disappear, leaving behind something even simpler, even quieter, a kind of soft emptiness that is not empty at all, but filled with rest, filled with calm, filled with a gentle stillness that continues without needing to be noticed. Your body completely at ease now, fully supported, fully relaxed, every muscle released, every tension gone, and your breath, slow and distant, like something happening far away, something that continues on its own, without your awareness needing to follow it. And as you drift deeper into this space, there is no longer any sense of time passing, no sense of before or after, only a quiet, continuous stillness where everything is the same, where nothing changes, where nothing needs to change. And in this space, sleep is no longer something you are entering. It is something you are already within, something that surrounds you completely, like the vast universe once did. But now even softer, even closer, even more complete. And you do not need to think about it. You do not need to recognize it, because recognition itself begins to fade, leaving only rest, only silence, only a deep and gentle calm that continues endlessly, carrying you further and further away from thought, away from awareness, away from everything except this quiet, peaceful sleep. There is only silence now, not the kind you notice, not the kind you listen to, but a silence that simply exists, steady and complete, requiring nothing, asking nothing, changing nothing. And within this silence, everything has already settled. Every thought has already faded. Every sensation has already softened. And you are no longer following anything at all, no longer aware in the way you once were, only resting in something deeper, like something that does not need attention, something that does not need to be understood. And as this silence continues, it feels less like an absence and more like a presence, a quiet fullness that holds everything gently, like space itself, like the universe you once drifted through. Except now there are no stars to notice, no distances to imagine, only a soft and endless calm. And your body is completely at rest, unmoving, supported, fully relaxed. Every part of you released into stillness, and your breath continues slow and distant, like a rhythm that belongs to the night itself. Not something you control, not something you follow, just something that continues quietly in the background. And as you remain here, there is no need to return, no need to rise back into thought or awareness, because nothing is missing, nothing is waiting, nothing needs to be done. And even the idea of you begins to feel softer, less defined, less separate, like a presence that is gently dissolving into the quiet around it, becoming part of the stillness rather than something within it. And this is where everything becomes simple, where everything becomes light, where everything becomes calm, and there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to release. Only this silence, this soft, endless, peaceful silence that continues without effort, without interruption, without end. Now, there is only stillness, deep and complete, not something you enter, not something you notice, but something you are already within. And in this stillness, there are no thoughts, no images, no sense of movement or time, only a quiet, continuous rest that holds everything gently, and your body remains fully relaxed, heavy and supported, completely at ease, as if it has melted into the surface beneath you, and your breath continues its slow, steady rhythm, so soft now that it feels almost distant, almost beyond awareness, and your mind is no longer active, no longer forming anything at all, no words, no ideas, no questions, only a calm and empty space that is not empty, but full of rest, full of quiet, full of sleep. And there is nothing left to follow, nothing left to think about, nothing left to understand, because everything has already faded into this deep stillness. And as you remain here, there is no sense of before, no sense of after, only a quiet, endless now that does not move, does not change, does not ask anything of you. And in this stillness, you are completely safe, completely at rest, completely held by something that does not need to be named, something that simply exists, quietly, gently, endlessly, and you do not need to stay aware of it. You do not need to recognize it, because even awareness itself has softened, faded, dissolved into the background, leaving only this deep, calm, uninterrupted sleep. The night continues, long and gentle, without beginning, without end, and you are resting inside it completely, not as something separate, not as something aware, but as part of the quiet itself, and everything that once moved through your mind has already faded, leaving no trace, no echo, no need to return. And this night does not change. It does not shift or demand. It simply remains steady and calm, like a vast sky without stars, like space without distance, like silence without interruption. And within this quiet, your body rests deeply, fully supported, fully released, every muscle soft, every part of you settled into stillness, and your breath continues, slow and gentle, like a distant rhythm that carries you without effort, without direction, without awareness, and there is nothing left to notice, nothing left to follow, because everything has already dissolved into this soft, endless calm. And as the night holds you, there is no need to think of time, no need to measure how long you have been here, because time itself has become quiet, stretched into something that no longer moves, no longer matters. And in this stillness, you are not waiting, not transitioning, not becoming anything else. You are simply resting, completely, fully, without interruption, without disturbance. And the night continues around you, within you, as you drift deeper into sleep, deeper into quiet, deeper into a calm that does not end. Everything remains soft now, unchanged, uninterrupted, like a calm that has settled so deeply it cannot be disturbed. And there are no edges here, no sharp thoughts, no sudden awareness, only a smooth, continuous stillness that flows without movement, and your body is fully at rest, unmoving, supported, completely at ease, as if it has become part of the quiet itself, and your breath continues quietly, so soft it no longer feels like something separate, just a gentle rhythm that blends into the stillness, and your mind is no longer active, no longer forming anything at all, no words, no images, no sense of self, only a deep and quiet rest that holds everything without effort. And there is nothing to return to, nothing to wake from, nothing to notice, because everything is already complete, already settled, already at peace. And this softness does not break, it does not change, it does not fade, it simply continues, steady and endless, like the quiet expansion of the universe, like the deep silence between stars, like something that has always been here and will always remain, and you are within it, not as something separate, not as something aware, but as part of this calm, this stillness, this endless rest, as everything continues, softly, quietly, without end. The quiet remains, steady, unchanged, like something that has settled so deeply it no longer moves at all. And within this quiet, there is nothing left to notice, nothing left to follow, nothing left to become, only a soft and endless stillness that continues without effort, and you are resting within it completely, not as a thought, not as a feeling, not as something separate, but as part of the calm itself, and your body remains fully relaxed, fully supported, every part of you release into this deep and gentle rest, and your breath continues quietly, so soft now that it feels like part of the silence, not something distinct, not something separate, just a gentle rhythm that blends into everything around it. And your mind is no longer forming anything at all. No images, no words, no sense of movement, only a deep and continuous stillness that holds everything without needing to change. And there is no time here, no before, no after, only a quiet presence that does not move, does not shift, does not ask anything of you. And in this stillness, you are completely safe, completely at rest, completely held by something that does not need to be known. It is something that simply continues, endlessly, softly, quietly, without interruption, without end. There are no edges now, no boundaries, no lines between one moment and the next, only a smooth and endless night that stretches without limit, without change, without direction, and you are within it completely. Not moving, not thinking, not noticing, only resting in a calm that has no beginning and no end. And everything that once felt separate has already blended into this quiet. Your body, your breath, your awareness, all of it softened, all of it dissolved into something simple, something still, something that does not need to be understood. And there is no need to return, no need to wake, no need to follow anything at all, because everything is already here, already settled, already complete. And this night continues steady and gentle, like a vast space that holds everything without effort, without movement, without change. And within this space, there is only rest, only stillness, only a deep and endless sleep that carries you quietly, softly, without interruption, as everything remains calm, silent, and whole. The calm continues endlessly, without change, without interruption, like something that has always been here and will always remain. And within this calm, there is nothing left to notice, nothing left to follow, nothing left to become, only a deep and quiet stillness that holds everything gently, and you are resting within it completely, not as something separate, not as something aware, but as part of the calm itself. And your body remains fully at rest, fully supported, every part of you softened, every tension released, and your breath continues quietly, so soft and distant that it no longer feels like something you notice, only a gentle rhythm that blends into the stillness. And your mind is completely quiet now. No thoughts, no images, no movement, only a deep and continuous rest that does not change, does not shift, does not ask anything of you. And there is no sense of time passing, no sense of before or after, only a quiet presence that remains steady and endless. And in this presence, you are completely safe, completely at peace, completely at rest, held by something that does not need to be understood, something that simply exists, softly, endlessly, without effort, without end. You are safe now, completely safe. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to remember. Everything has already softened. Everything has already faded. Everything has already come to rest, and you can continue to drift gently, slowly, without effort, without thought, without awareness, just drifting deeper into the quiet, deeper into the stillness, deeper into sleep. And there is no need to return, no need to wake, no need to follow anything at all. Only this soft and endless rest that holds you completely, and you can let go fully, completely, without hesitation, without resistance, because everything is calm, everything is quiet, everything is safe. Drift away, gently, softly, endlessly. Drift away, drift away, drift away. You are safe now, and there is nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold, nothing left to understand. Everything has already softened, already slowed, already come to rest. Your body completely relaxed, your breath steady and quiet, moving on its own, your mind light, distant, no longer reaching, and you can remain here as long as you need, drifting gently, without direction, like a soft current carrying you deeper into sleep. There is no ending here, no final moment, only a quiet continuation, a calm that stays with you through the night. And even as these words begin to fade, the stillness remains, the softness remains, the rest remains. You are safe now. Drift away, drift away, drift away.